We've got some huge news today for leadership coming out of college football, and that is Nico Imaliva has been released from the Tennessee football program after attempting the first holdout in the history of college football. He skipped practice on Friday in the attempt to get his contract from 2.4 million up to 4 million, and he was released by Josh Heupel and the Tennessee staff. And so we're going to talk about how this is going to impact leadership with this next generation. I think this is a very pivotal moment that we need to take pause as leaders and reflect on what this means, why this is happening, and how we can help the hearts of our young heroes so that they're not in this position. Which I'm hoping the very best for Nico. I don't know his story. I hope he's able to find another team and be successful with them. But it could potentially be a story of tragedy, and I hope it's not. So let's take a dive in and look at the details. Nico was scheduled to make $10 million throughout his career at Tennessee. He started receiving payments in high school. And this year, for his contract, he was scheduled to be at 2.4 million, which is likely the most of anyone on his team. But he had this desire for more. And my son, he'll have the same desire to make more, earn more, harvest now. I'm going to use that term throughout this video as harvest now. Let me get as much as I can from the current situation. And I think there's a few things that contribute to it. One is there is a instant gratification that kids are getting from media and social media. So if you want to watch a show, you can turn it on right now. I mean, within seconds, you can get it. And even I'm 36. Even when I was growing up, if you had a show, it was on at 8 o'clock on Thursdays. You had to wait until 8 o'clock on Thursdays. You had to be there. You had to be punctual, and you had to, check out the show for the hour, watch the commercials, and then you're on to the rest of your day. But you had to invest to be able to consume and enjoy that media. Now it's just everything's right away, right now, and so the patience level for the younger generation to say, "Hey, you're going to go to practice. You're going to have to learn and develop skills. You're going to have this habit of showing up over and over and over and over and over until finally it pays off." Often that patience is a lot less than in previous generations. The other thing that I'm seeing is there is a dangerous cycle for the ego. And I'm thinking about a lot of the young men that I've interacted with, and there's a ego that can get fed with the instant gratification. I want to feel something right now. I want to see something right now. I want to get something right now. And the young generation, they're good negotiators. They're going to push and fight to get and ask for what they can get because they've seen on their phone that if they're like, "Hey, I want to get this video right now. How do I do it?" I go and they can find shortcuts and get the information as soon as they can. I can get a friend's password to log into their account. They're looking to get things as quickly, easily as possible, which there is an advantage of that. But the disadvantage is when there's an unwillingness to go deep. There's an unwillingness to invest the time. And what can happen over time when that ego is fed and the ego of like, I need to consume, I want to get more status, money, not only will it hurt the connection with the people around them, but the ego will develop a protection mechanism to help keep it from changing. So if the belief is, I shouldn't have to work this hard to get something, I should be able to get more for less, and that is challenged, the ego is going to say, hey, you're in the right. You deserve more. Keep going. Hold your ground. When it's challenged and the ego wins, it keeps growing. It keeps getting bigger, and it can take away from the spirit. And the spirit is that true intrinsic motivation. So a quick lesson in intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. Based on what I'm hearing, Nico is someone who is more extrinsically motivated. He's motivated. He wants to get more money to play. When I was an intern at the University of Oregon, I was a strength intern, and I saw there were a few players that just loved the game. Troy Dye is one that comes to mind. He's now playing for the Los Angeles Chargers. He loved the game. He loved the preparation. He loved to train. He loved his teammates. He loved the existence of being a college football player. And so his love for the game and love for preparation let me know like the players that I saw who were great. There were a lot of players that are great, but the players that I saw that were great and loved it, those are the guys that are continue to be successful in the pros. The guys that I saw that trained hard and they like were doing it just to get a thing, just to get the status, just to get the starting position, just to get to the NFL and not enjoy the process. Then maybe they got drafted or they didn't get drafted. They made the team, and then you didn't hear as much about them. And that's not to say there weren't players that were so that didn't also love the game, but they reached their potential. But their love for life, their love for themselves, their love for the teammates was rich. So I want to kind of, in your mind, think about two different factors. You've got the ego, which is about the self, about the development, which can get fed and become more hungry for more money, more status, more women, whatever it is. And you've got the spirit. And the spirit is fed differently than the ego because the spirit is fed through giving back. Even if you're within a team, it's different when you do something for yourself, the feeling that you get, versus you do something for someone else. And that's something that my dad really instilled in who he is as a man, is this desire to give back to others, give back to God. And so when you feed that willingness to, like, let's just say Division III high school, there's no scholarships. It's just, hey, get on the field and play because you love the game. One, you love it. Two, you love your teammates and you want to win as a team. It's about nobody else, but it's really not, you're not winning for yourself typically. I mean, there are people that do it. Like, I love game, I'm going to get attention. But you're doing it because you're playing hard because you want this for your team. You're a unit. You're connected with the oneness. And a football team is a great representation of how we can move through life as men. Because if we can learn to be a great teammate, regardless of what our role is, it's going to help us be a great husband. It's going to help us be a great follower of Christ and contribute to what the team, what the kingdom is needing. And so, circling back to college football, where that it all ties back into, when Nick Saban left college football about a year ago, he said, when I was having meetings with players after the season, the thing they kept asking me at the meeting, 70-80% of them is, am I guaranteed to play, and how much are you going to pay me? So the shift has moved from how can I grow as a person? How can I grow as a student? How can I grow as a football team? As a football player? How can you help me develop and become a stronger version of myself? The value of that has gone down. And the value has gone up of what can I get now? What can I harvest right now? So the question is, for us as dads, for us as leaders, how can we help this young generation develop their leadership, their self-leadership in a way that they're able to have clarity that consuming, though it is part of the process of earning, you do the work, you get a bounty. Consuming is different than giving back. It's different than giving a gift. And if we don't have the cycle and we're just getting flooded, it can be detrimental. There's a story about, I believe it's the Dead Sea in the Middle East is drying up. And there's nothing, there's no water flowing out, and it's drying up. So there's no cross flow. But then the Sea of Galilee, there's water flowing in, there's water flowing out, and people are boating on it, swimming. It's one of the most popular destinations in the area because it's both giving and receiving water. Now, I know that's an analogy, but stay with this. If in our hearts we're just getting filled up, but we're never giving back, there is a disconnect with the people around us and their needs, and there's a disconnect with the needs of our God and our spirit. And so that's the big thing. It's hard to say to a teenager, we need to like improve your spirit, but we can put them in a position where, hey, what can we do to give back? How can we, especially if your kids are young, if they're 12 and under, how can we give back? How can we make it a normal thing in our family to not just go out and go to Disneyland, not just for me, go to jiu-jitsu practice, but how can we help at jiu-jitsu practice? How can we help another another person? How can we serve another person to lift them up? That's one of the beautiful things I see with my middle daughter, Maddie, she's 5, helping my 3-year-old daughter learn and grow. It's this chance to give back. So this is a really important piece that I think often is missing is, yes, we want to earn, we want to get, which is we're getting, I'm holding up my phone if you're listening to this, we're getting things faster and easier than ever for less work. So that's the programming that our kids are getting. We've got to show them that there is joy in giving back for the spirit. Because the truth is, if you go in and watch a TV show, you may have your mind, information, entertainment piece of who you are. Your brain is going to be entertained, but your spirit's not going to be filled unless you're using your body, unless you're giving back, unless you're interacting with other people shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow. So I really want to give Josh Heupel and his staff a tip of their hat, because they've done something else that has shifted how this whole interaction is going to occur in college football, probably college sports, because what has happened in our culture, we've become so focused on the now that we've lost track of our morals. And the Tennessee staff has stood by their morals. They said, even if we lose some more games, we're not going to compromise the culture and the community and the team that we've created. We're going to hold how we operate higher than the result, which in the short term this season, they may, if they would have said, hey, okay, we'll give you an extra, $1 million this season, that may have gotten them, he's a good quarterback. That may have gotten them another couple, 2-3 wins, got to a better bowl game, maybe make some more money. But the choice to hold to their standard, it is going to attract a higher caliber of student athlete to that program moving forward. It's going to attract kids who love the game, that aren't there just for the paycheck. And as a result of that, I believe their program is going to be tremendously more powerful in the coming years, because they've identified what's most important to them and they held with it even when it's hard. And this is a sport where, if you have a bad season or two, you might be losing your job, you might be moving your family. But the staff said, hey, this is what's most important. The reason it's critical is that if the athlete would have won this battle, it would have been a domino effect throughout the entire sports scene of athletes are in control, they're running the show, and it's not just about the money, but it's about the practice. I've been in the weight room at 6 a.m. when there are kids showing up. Do you think college football athletes that are D1, I mean, there's some kids that come in and they're dialed in, but a lot of them show up, they came to play football. They did not come to lift weights early in the morning, but it's what they've got to do. It's part of the program. It's part of the process. It's part of the standard of the culture. It's contributing to a culture that's greater than yourself. I'll say that again. It's contributing to a culture that's greater than themselves. And if they're not willing to do that, if they come in, they're like, hey, I'm running the show. I'm going to control the frame. I'm holding the cards. It's a power that's not actually healthy. Like in time, in development, in growth, we learn and we mature and we know how to hold the cards of leadership when we're other people that are under our leadership, and how to listen to them and treat them with dignity and respect and have them contribute in a positive way. However, if they're coming in from the bottom and looking to control, and like he has a role, he has a leadership role of being a quarterback. Uh, that energy is going to impact how he sees the whole team sees the whole entire season. Coaches don't hold frame. If things get hard, we're going to go the easy route. And now their whole season is going to shift and the energy is going to shift. It's one player. Yes. Is it the most important position in football, in college football? Yes. And it's not as important as the entire team. And I'm very happy for the kids that are going to be able to have a season that's fun and without this battle, bas- the power struggle, without the power struggle on that team. Because that's something that they're going to be able to take with them onto the rest of their lives. How they've grown, what they've learned about leadership. I mean, football is great. The season's great. But what I took out of being at Oregon and learning from Coach Feld and the other coaches on the staff is far beyond the Rose Bowl ring, the Pac-12 championship ring. I mean, that's great. But when I'm at my eulogy, I'm not that, when somebody's saying my eulogy, they're not going to be like, oh, he won a Pac-12 championship. They're be like, man, he made an impact. The leadership that he provided his kids made a difference. So how we are operating has to be more important, has to be senior than the end result. And with our teenagers, it can be hard because they're getting better at negotiating. I'm experiencing it with my own son. He wants to earn more money for a task. He wants more opportunity to work. He wants to be able to get through a class with the least amount of work. That's his personality. He's like, I want to get through the class. I want to pass the class. And I'm not trying to go on and on with extra homework that I don't see as necessary, right? Which that's okay to an extent, but we have to be able to be mindful of how that attitude can attach to the ego and then be unwilling, not having the capacity to have patience, not having the capacity to see the long game. And as leaders, it's very hard to just tell our kids like, hey, this is the long game. You have to see it. They have to experience it. And sports like wrestling is great for that. Like, you go in your first year, you're not great. You wrestle a bunch of matches, you go to a lot of practices, and over the course of time, you get a lot better. But you don't get to go to one practice and get way better. It's almost negligible, right? I go to one jiu-jitsu practice and go back. The difference is almost now. I go to 20 jiu-jitsu practices. I'm a whole new athlete. I have a whole new repertoire of what I'm able to accomplish if I'm practicing in the right way. So my takeaway for you, if you're a dad listening to this, like, how can I take this moment in history where we see kid pushing the boundaries, trying to get more, trying to harvest now instead of letting the crop develop? How can I take this and help my kids so they don't end up in this position? And I think it starts with feeding their spirit. As a follower of Jesus, we've got to let them know that there is joy in getting the new toy, but there is a greater joy in helping others achieve greatness, serving God in a way that's honorable, and developing the skills, becoming a new person each day at a time. If we're constantly consuming, we are actually in the feminine energy. And so having your young heroes get into that space of developing, of growing, of giving back, even if some very small way, and celebrating that will help them become the person that says, okay, first off, yes, I need to develop, but why I need to develop is different. I want to develop so that I can make a greater impact on people. Not I need to develop so that I can have more cars, consume more, get more. The purpose is so critical. And we've got to model that as dads. So thanks so much for listening. If you're interested in this video, I would recommend watching my video on Nick Saban from when he stepped away from college football and why it is. There's a lot of stuff that's been swept under the rug. I'll leave a link for that here, and we'll see you the next episode. Peace.